Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
All right, perfect. So nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you too.
It's hilarious when we were trying to schedule this thing. I can't believe that you were halfway across the world. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, like in Netherlands. Do you know my name? Maybe we start with that.
Yeah, so what's your name? You can introduce yourself. Perfect.
I'm Sonna.
Sona?
Yeah,
That's a beautiful name. I
thank
love that
you.
name. So I'm Richard. Obviously, you know that.
Yeah, of course I know that.
Totally excited about this. It's funny enough, I just did a series with Kayla. So when I saw that Kayla did the interview with you, I was like, all right, let's go. Let's party.
Yeah, that was last week, I think. Yeah.
She's been traveling everywhere. I think she was just in Turkey and then in Amsterdam yourself, actually. So
Yeah.
she was in your neck of the woods.
Yes, he was. Yeah, I don't think that's necessary because I think a lot of people already know you, but I always start with this one, so yeah.
All
And
right,
that
let's go.
is if you could give yourself a little introduction.
My name is Richard Sharrah. I'm sure you've seen a lot of my stuff on Real Short. In fact, I've only ever done the vertical series on Real Short. So my first one ever to enter into the vertical world, so to speak, was the Billionaires Baby Bargain. And I remember when I first did that, I showed up on set. I just got done shooting at the Manhattan Beach Studios down here in LA. It's where they shot my Mandalorian and Avatar. It was in the volume, so I was had like this full on production, the big giant 10-story LED screens and stuff. And then all of a sudden, I get this notification from my reps saying like, "Hey, you booked this billionaire baby bargain." I'm like, "What is this?" And then all of a sudden, they show up, we shoot it, and it goes crazy viral. I mean, it was nuts how immediate the response was from the vertical world and the fan base. And so ever since then, Real Short's just been like putting me to work. They keep making me feel, so it's great. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah. How many have you done so far?
I
That's
think
my
ones that are
question,
live,
but
yeah, I think 6 are live right now that you can go and just go onto the Real Short app and then type my name in, and then they'll all populate. There's 2 actually getting finished up and getting all the post production done, and those will be coming out soon. So the last one that I shot with Kayla isn't even out yet,
oh,
but that one's going to be a fun one. I got some response from the editors and everybody, the producers, and they were saying like, "Oh, these are going to be some really good fun ones."
can't wait to see it.
I know a lot of the reputation that I get whenever people see me on a thumbnail is that they're gonna cry a lot. And so the funny thing is I did one with Haley Lorelai. She's amazing, phenomenal actress. And the moment that they started seeing us post TikToks together, of course, meant that we're filming together. And then everybody went nuts on the comments, just saying like, "Oh my God, get the Kleenex ready. We're gonna cry like babies." And they started calling us the dramatic duo. So it was hilarious to see kind of like, what your reputation is and what your brand is whenever they see you come up on a thumbnail or on a poster. Like apparently mine is that you're gonna cry a lot. So I'm
Oh
very
yeah.
happy to say that yes, the emotion's going to be high, but these next ones are going to be a lot of fun too. So you're going to laugh a lot as well.
Oh yippee. Um I also say, by the way, always if you want to know something about me, you can always ask that.
So I want to know how you got started in this like vertical world. Everybody's first like taste of getting into this, and I've learned very quickly it's extremely addictive. So I want to know what was your first entrance into this thing, and how many vertical series have you seen?
Oh, my first vertical that is on Real Short. It's called "Pregnant by My Ex's Death."
Okay, that was the one that
And
started.
hmm?
That
what what did you say?
was the one that started this whole love affair, huh? That was
Yeah.
it. That was
And how many awards? I don't know. A lot of them.
hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands. What do you think? Ballpark it.
Uh, poo. On Real Short, almost everything, I think.
Everything on Real Short. Wow.
But also different apps too. So yeah.
That's crazy. I got to go back to Real Short Corporate and ask how many have you released? That's insane. I don't think I've ever had someone say I've seen everything on an app.
Almost
That's nuts.
everything. I think I missed a few, but if you talk about you, then I've seen everything.
Yeah, we see. Okay, so which one of my series is your favorite then?
Hmm. I think the one with Samantha.
Oh, it's Sam. Yeah, okay. All right, perfect. I know that she's an OG. She was back at the very, very beginning of Real Short.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was talking to her behind the scenes, like, in between takes, she had the craziest stories of back when they were young and still up and coming. Now they're like this ginormous powerhouse, the leader in the industry. It's crazy. But yeah, that was a fun one. So that means you cried. I'm sorry I
Yeah.
made you cry.
Or the last one with Haley too.
Haley. Oh my God, yeah. Haley was the one where we definitely ramped it up. So yeah, it got crazy pretty quickly on that set.
Yeah.
It was a fun one though. I think most of the fun was happening off camera, but yeah, there's a lot of the drama that happened on camera.
For which one did you get the most fan responses?
The most fan response is actually the first one ever that I did, the Billionaires Baby Bargain. That
Mhm.
was the one that was super, super hot right out of the gate. So that's why Real Short said, okay, we're gonna keep you and start making you work a lot. But the one that really got the craziest numbers was the one with Sam, the one that was, "Mommy Don't Cry, Daddy Is Sorry." That was the one where they did so much ad spend on top of it that I remember I was going through the routines of like picking up packages or just doing like errands around LA. And the people that I usually seen every single day and nothing really, happened was all of a sudden I was doing my normal routines and people behind like the cashiers were like, just pause for a second and be like, hold on a second. And then one of the girls actually went and checked her phone and she's like, "Did you?" This is a weird question. She's like, "Do you not know which one of your daughters is the real one?" Or something. And I just started dying laughing. My wife gets a kick out of it. She thinks it's hilarious. The reach of what these vertical series have done, especially in America, is crazy. It's so crazy.
I think I heard you say that before, maybe on Real Talk.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought that sounded familiar.
I mean, I always take it and I take it a step further where I was saying, because I came from like the traditional world. Like, I mean, it's so funny to even say this now. It's like horizontal is traditional, vertical
Mhm.
now is like this new medium for entertainment. And in the horizontal world, if you do like a network pilot or even like a big budget feature film, like, there is some like, notoriety that comes with it, but not to the level of these verticals because the reach and the distribution model of what these vertical series have done and penetrated, it's everywhere. And I think it's so close and so intimate whenever you have it with your phone. People watch these things, like the running joke is it's like, oh God, I just stayed up till 4 a.m. again watching these vertical series and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And you're watching them in your bed, in like literally when you should be sleeping, but you like fall in love with these characters and these series so much. And then you go out, and then especially whenever you see, like for instance, I've had probably the most emotional responses from fans have been from the vertical world.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very good thing.
My next question was if you could share a fun fact about you.
A fun fact about me. I think what a lot of people don't, or if they don't know or they do, is that I'm one of the few guys in this vertical world that's actually married and has kids. And so the funny thing is when they find out pretty quickly when they follow me and then follow my wife, they realize pretty quickly that she was a Disney princess. And so when we first met, she was working at Disney World, and she was the correct vernacular is you're friends with. She was friends with Sleeping Beauty and friends with Ariel. And marrying a princess comes with its own, it's like there's the stuff that precedes you, and it's like, oh my God, she's a princess. Oh my God, she's beautiful. But then when you actually show up and meet her, we do a lot of these red carpet events with Real Shorts. So whenever they throw these big parties, there's red carpets, there's fans that come and stuff, and when they see her, they literally scream out, "Oh my God, she is a Disney princess!" It's the funniest thing ever. And so it's funny. And of course, when you marry a Disney princess, as beautiful as my wife is, you make beautiful children. So Maverick and Cosette and Roman now, you can see all the pictures and all the beautiful videos on our socials. And yeah, people just eating them up. It's really, really cute to see the fandom not only embrace me as like these their favorite characters from these series, but then also my whole family.
Yeah, you have a beautiful family.
Thank you so much.
Um, what do you enjoy the most about acting, and how did you start? Two questions in a row.
Two questions in one. I'll start with how did it start.
Yeah.
So I've told this story before, but it is so like so beautiful as like this, romantic beginning to like this whole entire career was my mom is an immigrant from Peru. So she actually came here from South America and she didn't know English at the time whenever she first got here. And so she couldn't afford proper English classes because she was so poor. But obviously with that like, immigrant mentality and the tenacity is just like, no excuses, you just get it done. She would sit in front of the TV and just watch old classic Hollywood films. And my earliest and fondest memories as a child was actually, I still remember, it's like my first memories is sitting in her lap and watching The Great Escape, James Garner, Steve
Mm.
McQueen, all the like John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, all of these old classic Hollywood films, and she would just ingest them and learn English. And so what was I doing? I was ingesting them and falling in love with storytelling, like, good versus evil, the character arc, like the hero's journey. And I was just so enthralled and so in love with it. And I think there is, if you want to break it down psychologically, I think that I do like, what do they call it? Like they correlate the love of my mother and time with her with having like, this shared love for movies. And so it was something that really spawned this love and this love affair that I had with film. And I kind of like, was the starting point for the trajectory for like, being in film. And so I loved it. It was this thing that basically I made a joke about it. I know it sounds like you've watched all the podcasts. And so I joked around with the guys on Bro Talk with Jeff and also Aaron. I was like, there's no other medium or no other job where you can go and actually fulfill and scratch all the itches that I want to do. It's like, I want to jump out of planes. I want to like, rob a bank. I want to do like all the craziest things. Like I want to live on Mars. And those are the kind of things that are actually possible in this beautiful job of media and entertainment. So it's cool. It's one of those things that really keeps you alive and inspired.
How did you learn about verticals? How did you get into it?
So my reps actually submitted me for it, and then I remember I was so busy working. I was doing that guest star that put me down at Manhattan Beach Studios, and I just got done shooting another short film. And then it was just in the world of acting, you just audition, audition, audition.
Mhm.
And so there's hundreds of these things that like last second, I always have to find the quietest part in the corner of the house, film this audition, and then submit it, and then forget about it because you just got to move on. The more and more that you like, dwell on the fact that like, well, why didn't I get this? Why didn't I get that? It's just a wicked evil spiral. So you just got to like give it everything you got, do it, and then as quickly as you did it, forget about it and move on. So I remember I submitted into like a dozen of these projects and stuff, and then all of a sudden when they start coming back with callbacks and like bookings and checking avails, that was about the time where I really had to go back and be like, all right, so what was this again? And then whenever there was a little bit of push and pull. So I was sharing this on like another interview. There's
With my
at the beginning.
friends. You did one with my friends. I saw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that was the one like, interesting question. What happened was just like, all right, so how did it start? And to be honest, it's one of those things where when there's a new entrant and a new market player, especially in an established old legacy business model like legacy media,
Mhm.
everyone always sticks their nose up to it and kind of says like, be careful, don't slum it with these new guys or whatever. And I've been in the game long enough. Whenever Netflix came around,
Yeah.
Netflix was new. Everybody was like, okay, okay, who's this guy? And then you start responding because obviously they're doing auditions and stuff. And even old players that, I looked up to in the legacy business model, so to speak, the horizontal
Mhm.
world would be like, dude, don't mess with Netflix. You'll tarnish the brand. Don't do that. And then, of course, look what happened. Netflix took over, took everything. It flipped it on its head.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with YouTube, and the same thing happened with the vertical world. I remember when I first got it and they offered me the role for Billionaires Baby Bargain. I was trying to Google, I was trying to see what was written about them, and it wasn't really it wasn't positive. There's a lot of stuff that people were like saying, like, be careful, don't do that, don't touch it, tarnish the brand with verticals. But I was like, you know what, forget you guys. I've seen this before. I go and I do it. Amazing response. Worked with the amazingly talented Daniela. and we just had a blast. Nani was the director. She was phenomenal. I worked with her again for Mommy Don't Cry, Daddy's Sorry. She was the
Mhm.
director for that one as well.
I know.
And it's been this phenomenal thing now where the same people that were like, "Be careful," are the same ones going like, "Hey, Richie, can you like hook me up? Can you give can you give me a gig?" So it's interesting to see. It's the same thing but different, you know? It's these cyclical, like, you know, machinations that happen in an industry. It just
Mhm.
happens again, but it's different. It was YouTube,
Yeah.
Netflix, now it's verticals. And so ride the wave or don't. It's like, and I'm so happy that I did. I loved every second of it.
Mm. About the next question, I'm really curious what you would say. So, if you could completely create your own show, what would it be about?
Ooh, good question. Good question. I think I would mix in a little bit of a psychological thriller with some horror elements. I think that's where I would really go down the rabbit hole, so to speak. Or you'd have like the story stuff that's rooted and deep in tradition, but
Mhm.
then of course this rogue kind of like, you know, cowboy that's going to go in and change and wreck everything. And so there's always I always like reference it. A lot of people think Aladdin it's just fun with the genie and stuff like that.
Mm.
But I actually, when I saw that as a kid, that spoke to like my core, and I referenced it in my first podcast episode when I was a Real Short, because I remember Sarah Maliski was laughing and stuff, and she was talking about, she's like, "What's your favorite show?" And I was like, "Aladdin," and she just starts laughing, and I'm like, "No, no, no! Like, if you really want to break it down, it's very deep. This idea, especially because I grew up in the Midwest, and I, you know, we're kind of humble upbringings, and I always thought that, you know, this rogue kind of like rebel that Aladdin, you know, embodied, where he could go against the grain, was like super charming, could kind of talk himself out of anything. And he just like, you know, just dreamed about getting there's some element or something that could get him there, rubbing the lamp, getting a genie that can make him approach and get the princess and also, you know, get in the castle and become a prince. And I felt like my way of doing that logically was obviously through education, like I spoke about in that. But there is this romantic idea, especially fostered in the American dream, that you can come from nothing. You can be a street rat, and through wit, cunningness, and like, you know, education, you can actually get into the palace. So I love stuff like that.
I love this question always because I love listening to people's ideas.
You know.
Uh, the next one is my favorite question to ask, and
Oh,
that
here we go. Let's go.
is, oh, if you could give your younger self advice, what would it be?
Oh my God. Great question. Great question. Go back in time and shake him and be like, "Richard, come on, man, come on." I would say, put all your stock, buy everything you can in Nvidia, and I could retire now. Buy buy Bitcoin when it was nothing, then you could you know retire. Besides financial, independence and financial freedom, I would go back and say, "Oh man, I think that there was a viral video that just went viral recently. It was from the two guys. It was Dwight and the other guy from The Office, and they were talking about this beautiful line that's in The Office. I shared it on my socials. I
Hmm.
don't know why it just came to me right now, so we could talk about it. But it was like, I wish there's some way to know when you're in the good times and to be grateful for it before it ends.
Yeah.
And I was like, enjoy. I think there's seasons. There's seasons to everybody's life and enjoy those seasons, live it up. Because when the different chapter starts, that era and that season of your life is over. And I think a lot of regret and a lot of people, especially in like the married world, because once you get married, you know everybody hates to admit it, but you start entering into this new phase, this new chapter where you start hanging out with like married friends now. And then this new like, you know, era, the new chapter in our life once you start having kids is that you send them to schools and then you start interacting because they're my kids have friends now.
Hmm.
You're actually forced to interact with the parents now. So these like parents that you know in a normal, I guess in a normal setting you would never talk to each other. Now because your kids are friends you have to talk. I think that there's this like there's this regret that happens when a lot of people enter those different stages and they feel like they were shoved into the next season a little preemptively or a little too fast or a little bit early. I think that's where a lot of people kind of like, self-destruct or even like, do these things where they do self-destructive habits or even behaviors. And I feel like if you actually enjoy and embrace each of the seasons and live them to the fullest, then you will happily start entering into the next chapters of life. So you'll actually you can look back on it fondly and obviously you remember those things, but then you're ready for the next chapter. I think that would be something that, like I've never actually thought about that as deep as I guess, me pontificating right now. And maybe that same advice will change tomorrow if you ask me the same question. But I think that there is an element to the fact that embracing the season that you're in and don't beat yourself up if you feel like you're not in the next one yet or as fast as you want to be. Just like, live it, enjoy it, and learn from it. And then it will naturally move into the next chapter when it's supposed to.
Wow. That was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now it's a fan question. How was it working with Sam and Andrea? And I added myself, Haley.
I think what's so great is that they haven't paired me off yet with like a lead actress, so I haven't done any repeats with the same one. And for better or for worse, I actually enjoy the fact that every single one of them has been with a new lead in this vertical world. And I always joke that like, it's a unique breed of people that come into this world, and especially the ones that can carry shows and continuously make shows successful. You can tell immediately when you interact with them or work with them on set. Haley was phenomenal. I even was teasing her whenever we first got there. I was like, I've seen her work before and I knew she was talented. But then whenever you get on a set and you work across from her and interact and you're actually performing across from her, I was like, my God, you're amazing. It's like I knew it, and it's so amazing to see it in real life. Sam was the same way. Whenever we were working on that set, you knew something was special whenever we were doing our scenes
Mhm.
for Mommy Don't Cry, Daddy is Sorry. And that's why it's got so crazy. The success of it is insane. It's like it's going to cross 200 million views, which is insane.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could sense it whenever you start working with these actresses, and I'm like, you can bring it. Oh my God, you're good. Like, and that's when I feel the special. It literally changes the molecules in the air whenever you're working on set, and you know it's going to be special. And that was one that I felt whenever we were working on Mommy Don't Cry, Daddy is Sorry. And obviously the results show it.
Yeah, they do. Do you want to know my favorite part of my interview with Sam? Because it involves you.
Involves me.
Yeah, when she says your name, I always laugh when I watch that back.
When you watch it back, oh God, that's funny. You got to make it a GIF or something, or make it a meme. We're just gonna send it to each other.
That was when she said like Richard. I always laugh.
Oh, they were yelling at me. I was like, oh yeah, everybody yells at me on set. Yeah, there's like the TikToks. Oh my God, it was so funny. Same thing with Haley. When we have such intense, like emotionally charged
Mhm.
scenes, you have to have like a release valve, so to speak. It's like a pressure cooker. And so that's why some of the best TikToks that we have is just us screwing off and like having fun off set, off camera. So yes, some of the craziest stuff and the funniest ones whenever the kids are all crawling on top of me. So like the beautiful little girls that played fake Ellie and real Ellie,
Mhm.
they were like climbing all over me. They basically treated me like I was their dad. And so it was funny because I was always teasing him and like, just razzing him the whole time because, that's what dads do to get the kids.
Mhm.
I was always send them on little missions to get me food. It was so cute and fun. but but that was basically it was almost to the point where the first AD, everyone on set, the crew members will just be like, Richard, take control of the situation. Richard, 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 Richard. And so like the kids were having a blast. It was a good thing. It was fun.
Yeah, that's I think my favorite TikTok I have seen.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's like a window, like the curtain got drawn. You got to see how crazy the set was.
Yeah,
And a lot of people in the comments responded like accordingly saying they were so happy to see how happy the kids were on set
yeah,
because scenes that they only see are just them crying the whole time and being mistreated. And so it was a nice just juxtaposition. It was nice to see.
yeah. What do you like to do in your free time when you're not working?
Oh man, I'm never not working. That's the
I know.
problem. I think my wife would get her chagrin. She's like, Richard, stop, turn off, turn off. If I'm not working and I'm not working on the multiple things and like the multiple irons in the fire that I have going, I think my happiest place is actually when we can kind of basically shut out everything and anyone and even turn off my phone. Because like, it's such a never ending thing that's like, oh, I need you, I need you, I need you for this, I need you for that. So you just set it aside and put it away and then just spend time with my family. I think one of our cherished times, at least for me, it's almost like this weird, I guess I never put it together. It's funny enough, you're asking me this question, I'm kind of like putting the link. We instituted kind of like family movie night. So where the kids each have their own little popcorn holder. I make a giant thing of popcorn, everybody sits on the couch, and we let each kid has a turn choosing the movie for the night. And they're just soaking it up and eating it up. And it's almost like this weird recreation of like the fond memories that I have as a kid when I grew up, sitting with my mom and watching all these movies. These emotional roller coasters of movies where you fall in love with these characters, fall in love with the story. And the one that has been on repeat nonstop in this house for now is the K-pop Demon
Oh
Hunters, the
yeah.
one from Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I kept hearing the music because the kids would watch it, like, on repeat over and over and over, and, like and I was so busy that I would always catch just tidbits and seconds of it, and I'm just like, why do they keep putting this on repeat?" And then I go and I sit down and we watch it for family movie night, and I was like, "I'm a diehard K-pop Demon Hunters fan. Love it. Everything. It checks every box for a good movie, and it's got an insanely addictive soundtrack too, so
Yeah.
big fan, big
I've seen it, so I know.
know exactly what I'm talking about. I think it's so vertical-esque as well. I think
Yeah.
it's a great, great, almost like case study on taking the vertical and what makes vertical so successful, and then still inserting it in a horizontal animation format. But yeah, that's its own like 2-hour podcast that we could talk about anyway.
Next time.
Yeah, next time we'll do that for the next one. It'd be great.
Okay. Um, if you have to recommend a vertical, I don't know if you see ones, but the question is, if you have to recommend a vertical, one with you, one without you, which would you recommend?
Oh my god, you got me. You're gonna make me out myself. I actually don't watch them, so
Maybe your own.
I don't think I've even seen most of my own, let alone anybody else's. So I think if you had to watch one of mine, if you want to cry, be moved, and have an emotional experience, Mommy Don't Cry, Daddy is Sorry, you're definitely gonna get that. And guess what? It's done so crazy successful that they just released like a little video game read along on
Nice.
Chapters game. So you can check that out. I know. So the promos for that will be coming out soon. Talk about like, childhood dream of mine to like be in a video game. And then when I started clicking on the character for me, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Not gonna lie, I was like little giddy moment, like a little giddy kid. If you wanna have fun, like a typical romance, a romance one where you wanna fall in love and have, like, a storyline behind it, I think the first one, The Billionaire's Baby Bargain, you'll enjoy a lot, because that's, like, the classic romance story with a good 3-act structure and an arc, and the characters change. I think a lot of people quote that one as their love life. I've done all these CEO billionaire ones. It's just
Mhm.
always CEO billionaire, CEO billionaire, CEO billionaire, but it works.
What is one of your most memorable moments on set?
I think the one that really caught me, I remember when we showed up for Sadness Knows No Boundaries. It was the one with Haley.
Yeah.
And the bomb goes off, and they have paramedics, they've got firemen, they've got an ambulance, they've got rubble, they've got special effects. They literally blow everything up, and then all of a sudden the whole set is going crazy. I thought that that was so cool to be on. It almost gave me like this full on flashback to whenever I was doing like, network pilots and like, full on feature films with big budgets. I felt like, it's reaching a point now where these verticals are getting some serious budgets and getting some serious play whenever they go and they create these beautiful moments of high stakes. And so that was a cool moment for me whenever I got out of that BMW and like smokes everywhere, firefighters running by, extras, and then like a paramedic. And I was like, ooh, this is getting real.
Yeah.
I love it. I was like, this feels good.
I know a lot of people can watch that show.
I think a lot of people love that one. That one gets crazy fast, and it's funny too. There's a lot of funny moments in that.
Did I tell you what I thought of it? I think I
No,
have.
let's go. I want to hear it.
I posted a review about it, I think.
Okay. All bad? All good? What?
If I'm right, I was. It's funny now saying this to your face. But I said in that review that I hated your character at most of the show.
Like that's what's so funny. A lot of people were DMing me that very same thing. So you're not alone. They were like, "You were so good that I hated you every second of the show." And I
Yeah,
was just like, "I'll take that as a compliment because I really got to ramp up the evil guy, and it was fun."
yeah. Because have you done Evil Guy before? I don't think so, right?
Not really. So they were kind of playing with this like villain-esque like appeal with the mommy don't cry daddy is sorry. Like I wasn't there to save the day. I was the one who was being
Hmm.
manipulated and gaslit by these women, in the show. So I wasn't really the hero, but I wasn't really the villain. So it's kind of like this weird gray area. And then whenever they gave me the script for Sadness Knows No Boundaries, and of course Haley was attached, I felt like it was a no-brainer because I was just like, oh man, whenever you play the hero or you play the good guy, there's kind of like, some parameters that you have to stay in
Hmm.
to make it believable and justifiable and to like, be like the Captain America of the show. And then there's another one, an angle that you can do whenever you play the villain where it's like all the restraints come off. Like I always make the joke that the director basically said, Richard, you have the green light, just do whatever you want. And so I was just like, I get to do whatever I want. Oh, I'm gonna have some fun with this. So yeah, it was fun.
Is there any dream roles that you haven't played but you want to?
To be the next James Bond. That's what I want to do. To be James Bond.
Yeah, I
Or play a Jedi. I would
already thought
love to
so.
play Jedi. That's like a baby young Richard dream is to become a Jedi.
Oh, yeah. Which of your which of your characters did you feel the most connected with and why?
I think there's different like levels to it or different aspects to it. So I felt like the one that I responded to well, no wonder they like gave it to me was the character in the first one, the billionaire's baby bargain. I felt
Hmm.
like it was someone I think I just got out like getting done with my MBA. So I was very much in the business mindset of like go out and money, 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 very singular focus. And so that character, despite of everything, he just wanted to become the heir of the company, and his father put those stipulations on him that he needed an heir. And so instead of actually like like I kind of what I referenced earlier, there's different seasons to life,
Yeah.
and in bachelorhood, a lot of guys have problems leaving that era and like ending that season and finding true love and going and taking those next steps to finding marrying the love of your life, and then of course having that season, but then also like introducing children into the mix. This character was so singular focused on like, all right, whatever, it's just another check mark, just give me a wife, I'll do a contract marriage, I'll get a baby just to check the box and move on. And then of course through that story he changes personally when he starts falling in love with the contract marriage with Daniela, with the character. And all of a sudden this kid, he willingly almost takes those next steps in those seasons of life, and he's a changed man now. And so instead of being forced to take fast forward through those different seasons, he willingly walks and takes the bridge into the next season of life. And I really really related to that kind of stuff whenever my own bachelorhood ended, whenever I found my Disney princess. We fell in love, got married, and we really did enjoy just our time together. I always give that advice when people ask me like, how fast could you have kids or should you have kids? And of course the real answer is it depends, and it's always different for everyone. Everyone's journey is different. But I always tell them it's like you should, if you want to ask me for any like advice, it's just cherish the moments that you have when you're just together. Like be married and be husband and wife, and really enjoy that. Travel the world, go anywhere if that's what you want to do. Go and do that together, because like when the kids come out, like a lot of things do change.
Hmm. Yeah. This again, I fun question with who that you haven't worked with already would you love to work with?
Oh, so I'll give you a new one then. So I'll change it up for each of the interviews. So I'll try to get a new one each time. So the the one that I gave last time, we actually met on a red carpet event. So Meg Bush actually, she met me and my wife at a red carpet event for Real Short back in the day, and that was like the running joke is like we got to find something where we can work together. And it never worked out schedule wise. And then if I had to pick a new one though, I think one I remember Tess when I saw her reactions to stuff whenever her fandom took off on TikTok, her funniness and the way that she would respond to fans and just turn on that live camera and just ramble and stuff. I was just like, dude, she actually looks like she would be super cool and fun to work with. So that's someone who I've actually never interacted with, but that's just someone through the social media world and being in the same Real Short kind of like,
Yeah.
bubble. That was someone who I was like, man, if we ever get paired on one, I'm sure we'd have a blast on set.
Yeah. She is a lot of fun. And I would love that you two in one together.
I think it'd be cool. I think she's good too. So it would be a fun one.
Yeah.
It would be high stakes, high emotions. You definitely, if you saw us on a poster together, you'd be like, all right, you're gonna feel all the feelies, like I always joke and say. You're gonna get the laughter and you're gonna get the sadness all in one, which is a good movie.
Yeah.
If you're getting all the range of emotions and all the feelings whenever you're watching these at 2 a.m. alone in bed at night, you're gonna like, I got my money's worth. It's good.
You talked a little about traveling. Is there any country that you have been to that you love to visit?
So the last continent that I haven't been to yet is Antarctica. So I need to go hang out with the penguins, and then I can check off all the continents of the world.
Oh,
So if anybody is sponsored or wants to, sponsor me to go play with the penguins, I'm totally up for it. Let's go.
do you listen to music?
All the time. All the time.
Do you have any?
I always
Sorry.
it's never like your favorite one for me. It's actually whatever mood you're in or what mood you're trying to create. And a lot of people, they always ask me, and sometimes I tell them, and sometimes I don't. I'm a diehard movie soundtrack listen to. Like I listen to that all the time. I'll listen to Inception soundtrack. I'll listen to Interstellar. Basically anything Hans Zimmer. It's like it's gonna be in my ears sometime during the day. Even long drives and stuff. I think it taps into something. You know how you listen to all like and read all the studies, especially with children, whenever they say like play Mozart and like big huge like Beethoven, it'll help expand their brains and stuff when they're kids. And so I was like, why wouldn't that be the exact same when you're older as well? So I feel like you can, if you really want to meditate or you really want to like, go off into the deep end or like go down rabbit holes, like intellectually or like just thinking to yourself or like, try to think about life, just turn on a Hans Zimmer soundtrack and you'll go to the edges of the universe, so to speak. And so I always love and enjoy that.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot a question. Is there something people can wake you up with in the middle of the night?
Something they could wake me up with?
Yeah.
Or like a reason? What do you mean? Like a
Like
song?
like maybe for me, for example, it's like pizza or a good uh like my friends when they need me.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Because that's exactly me too. If you got pizza and it's hot and ready, I will be there. 2 a.m. I don't care if you just woke me up and I'm dead asleep. I'm like, if I smell pizza, I'm there. That's me. Sushi is another one. Sushi is a big game changer for me.
Same.
And then I remember when we flew to Japan and we were so jet lagged and just so beat up, and like, everybody was like, oh, I just want to go to bed. I was like, I don't care. I'm like literally falling asleep as I'm like, I gotta get sushi. I must get sushi. So just go find some place and eat it, even though I'm falling asleep as I'm eating it. And then of course steak. Steak is the game over for me. I joke about it a ton on the podcast, at Real
Mhm.
Short, but I was like, I'm dead serious. It's like I will even cook a steak at midnight if I'm feeling it, and I was just like, I will do all of that work because I just love it so much. It's my favorite thing in the world.
You meant like the first podcast you did or the second one?
The bro talk. So the bro talk boys, whenever I was like teasing them and stuff, and I was like, if you ever come over, we're gonna be lifting weights and eating tons of steak.
I have 5 more questions, so you know.
All right, perfect. That actually works time with my timelines because
Okay.
I gotta jump off soon, but that's perfect. Let's go. 5.
Um, this is a funny question. Althans. 3. If you were stranded on an abandoned island and you only got to take 3 things or people.
3 things.
I know you're
I'd have to
probably gonna
leave one of
say
my.
your family.
I know my family, so that counts as one, or I have to choose which family member to leave behind.
Yeah, as one.
So the family definitely counts as one. I would actually, oddly enough, I think I would take the family, obviously, but I also would want a boat, but not to escape. I would actually use the boat in order to like go fishing and have like nighttime. Like so we would actually go to Lake Powell a ton back in the day with like a big group of our friends and family. And some of the it's this big huge lake in America where people have ginormous houseboats and stuff.
Mm.
And you actually stay there for like a week. You can dock the thing and then you go out and take jet skis out and go crazy. And so some of my fondest memories actually are when you go out in the middle of Lake Powell and all of the light pollution is gone. So you're in the middle of nowhere. It's literally like, a desert. But you're looking up at the sky with zero light pollution. You can actually see the Milky Way and all
Mm.
the stars, and it's just gorgeous. So I would actually use that boat on the deserted island to take my family out and have those amazing experiences and like looking up at the sky with zero light pollution and basically seeing how vast and how I think that's why I love Interstellar so much because I'm obsessed with like space and like how deep
Mhm.
it is and stuff and going down the far edges of the universe. And I think that that's a definitely cherished memory that I would incorporate into my deserted island that I could share with my kids and family.
No, yeah.
And I wouldn't even try to leave. I would use that boat just to go fishing and have fun. I would be like, I love it here. I don't have to worry about anything else. And then I would want the third thing is a food creation button where I could just tap it and then food would just appear. So I don't have to worry about. I know I'm getting really creative now. My mind is like working. So I got my boat to go hang out and go out and do beautiful things. I've got my family to do it with. And then I have unlimited steak at a push of a button. I could just go to have like sushi, steak. So that would be my 3 things that I would go get to this deserted island. I would be living pretty nice if I had those 3 things.
That's funny. I knew that it would be a question for you for some reason in my head.
Okay.
But the next question is, what's the best? Yeah, maybe you already said this, but what's the best career advice you ever got?
Career advice. Oof. It's always so when a lot of people when they approach me because their kids are thinking about whether becoming an actor or going into like anything in the arts if they want to
Mhm.
become an animator if they want to become a musician like whatever like they for some reason I guess I don't know the success that I've had mixed in with like the masters in business that I have I think there's this element of parents are just like how do I try to get some logic to my kid and so they always have me talk to them and some of it is genuine. Some of it is, Richard, can you like squash this dumb dream? Coming from the parents that you can kind of sense where it's coming from after the first initial ask. But I'll never ever ever put out someone's dream. I feel like it's almost like a pilot light. It's like a water heater or like
Mhm.
a stove. Once that's gone, your life becomes devoid of anything that gives it life, that spark of life. So if anything, I'm actually the guy that will make it bigger and brighter and pour gasoline on it. But I always tell if you want advice, we exist in a world, sadly, for better or for worse, where you have to be able to monetize this dream or monetize this passion that you have. It can't be something you can devote your whole life to as a hobby, unless you're a trust fund kid. And in that case, we can hang out and like you spend your money too. But for the rest of us who aren't trust fund kids who have to actually make a living, having business acumen is a huge thing. It's a very important thing because having that business acumen will actually elongate and allow you to strategize and make money doing this thing that you love so much. And the sad reality is, if you don't have an endless bank account or you're not a trust fund kid in this pursuit, when you're chasing a dream like this that's in the arts, if you don't have business acumen, that dream becomes very short. The ability to go and pursue that dream, the timeline and the runway gets very, very short quick if you don't know what you're doing with money. So that would be my advice, is that chase the dream, go for it. I think it's a beautiful thing. It will give you that spark of life. But if you can pair it with business acumen, my God, now all of a sudden you actually have a path. You can actually have a career.
The oh yeah. How do you prepare for your roles?
Oof. I think there is that. You read the script a ton of times, obviously. It's like, very, very 101. Get to understand where the character is different from you and where you're the same. And what aspects are you going to infuse into this character that you feel like you can bring, or unique perspective on the character. And then, of course, the stuff that's just way out of the ballpark. It's like, I'm not evil. I'm not inherently, mean to people. But yeah, what stuff outside of your own character are you going to bring to this character that you feel like can enhance it and actually follow its motivations and like where his center of truth is. I think that's where you start playing that game of, a lot of people, they can get lost in the pontificating of acting and stuff, and there is kind of like this brain science to it, actually. If you really want to break down the script, break down the characters, what's the arc, what are the changes that are happening, what's their motivations, you'll hear a lot of actors talk about and stuff like that. But finding those motivators and finding like what the overarching goal of these different characters are, and then reverse engineering it into these characters, is something that I've always fell in love with. I always like solving Rubik's cubes. It's kind of like that mental chess game, or that Rubik's cube that you can solve for. And that's with each of these characters. I like figuring that out. So I actually enjoy it. And then once you're done with that and you've kind of pieced everything that you feel like, can really make this character stand out and be unique and different and like, special on its own, then you give them the breath of life.
Do you always stick to the script you get, or do you sometimes make changes?
All the time.
Yeah.
So the script supervisor, this one of the first people I talked to on set, because I was like, we could either have a contentious relationship or we can love each other and give us some breathing room. So the the ones that let me just like improv and like fill in and literally say what comes to my heart. If you've done the character work and if you've done these, you understand your character, then those lines almost become your own whenever you speak them and answer and respond to different actors on set. And so it's one of those things where I actually love improving. I love improving and like adding stuff that I feel like the character would say at this like situation and in these different like circumstances. And so I enjoy adding lines and like writing your own characters in it a little bit. I think it gives it that unique touch.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, and what is, in your opinion, the chal- most challenging aspect of, yeah, vertical actors?
Most challenging, I think it's almost become like a strength of mine now because of sheer repetition. I is the speed and velocity that they shoot these things. In the horizontal legacy world, 3 to 4 pages is aggressive. We were like, oh, whoa, we're shooting 3 to 4 pages today. Like, that's a lot. And that's what I was used to until I showed up on these verticals. And they're shooting like 10 to 15 pages a day at minimum. Minimum. I know some of these guys are getting crazy now. We're almost 20 pages or even 30 pages a day. It's crazy. You get in, you better know your lines and you better know what the character is in these scenes, because you'll get 1 or 2 takes and then you're moving on. You're moving on because you got to burn through these pages through the day and get the page count. And so that was probably the biggest, like, you when you get thrown into this world, and my advice for anybody who's going to show up on their first day on set is that get ready to move fast. The speed and velocity is the biggest difference in this vertical world.
Then the last one, and I always end with this one, and that
Ooh,
is,
excited.
and that is, if you wanna say something to the viewers of your shows or the viewers of our talk or me.
I think all of you guys, all of the above. I think the fact that I can actually jump on this and like interact with fans in this world is something special and unique to the vertical world itself. And I've always said this a million times: the fan base in the vertical world is like no other. I remember when the fires were happening here in LA,
Yeah.
and I had fans and like really really diehard fans coming at me from like Latin America, from Brazil, from Argentina, and then even from Europe. So like yeah, Italy, Amsterdam, even like from the Netherlands and stuff, and then Eastern Europe like Romania, Russia, and China, and like like in the Asian countries. I was just like, they were calling my kids out by name. They're like, "Is Maverick and Cosette okay?" I was like, "My God, this is insane." It's
Mm.
like these are like genuine, real fans that actually care. And I feel like that's such a special and unique network effects that happens in this vertical world, where the fan base is so genuine and so kind, and they genuinely care about you and your family even. So it's like, it's me as the actor, but then all of a sudden they follow me, they almost immediately follow my wife, and they
Mm.
fall in love with the kids, and they're texting me about how beautiful Roman is, my son now, who was just born, and like how much he looks like me. So it's just so funny. They're just like, they
Yeah.
embrace everything about you.
So that were all my questions.
That was it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was great. That was awesome. That was zero stress. You're the best.
Oh, thank
I know
you.
the time difference is crazy, and I got to jump off because I got another call.
Yeah,
But
you
seriously,
so
thank you. Like to expound a little bit on you on the last question. It's like these interactions that I have with the fan base in the vertical world like mean the world to me. It's great. You guys are awesome. I love what you're doing. Keep it up.
thank you.
And like anything you need in the future, like let me know.
Yeah. Thank you for doing this because I love doing these calls. So it's make it more personal.
Yeah, you're great. You're great at it too. Keep going.
Thank you.
I'll tell Kayla. I'll text her right now and be like, "Hey, I did the interview. Let's go."
Great.
All right,
And good
I'll let
luck
you go.
with your next call.
You're amazing. Thank you so much. All right,
Bye.
bye.